Okay, so 1.4 number 2, homework question here. It says this, for each geometric series. So this is a geometric series that are listed there. And we can confirm that, I guess, by finding the r value, right? Taking one number divided by the number that is just before it. State the values of t1 and r. Then determine each indicated sum. So there's three things we need to do here. We need to find t1, r, and s of, in this case, for a, s of 10. So the sum of the first 10 terms. And you do not have to list out all the 10 terms, and you don't have to add them individually, thankfully. We have formulas for that, right? So for 2a, let's take a look at 2a here. So in this list, it appears that the very first term is t1, and that's 6. So t1 is 6. The r value, now remember the r value is found by taking any term in the list and dividing it by the term just before it. So if I take the second term, I divide it by the first term. That's what I'm going to do. 9 over 6. So that comes to what? 3 over 2, right? Or 1.5. So you can use a decimal. That's no problem. So r is 1.5. Okay. So express your answers as exact values. Okay. So actually, if they want exact values, we probably shouldn't use decimals. Let's use fractions. Okay, simplified fractions. And that's going to help us kind of do the algebra at the end there, okay? So now I need to find, so I've found this part, I've found the r value, and now I need to find s of 10. So here's my sum formula, and s of 10, the sum of the first 10, starts with the first term, which is 6. And what I have to do, I have to multiply this by 3 over 2, and we're going to leave that as a fraction now, to the power of what? Well, n, and n is 10. So 3 over 2 to the power of 10, we're going to subtract 1 from that. Now the tricky part is going to just be working with the fractions, right? Nobody likes to work with fractions. I don't know, they get a raw deal there, but r is 3 over 2 minus 1. No problem, we can do this. We just have to pay close attention here. So 3 over 2 to the power of 10 here, okay? So let's just work this through here. So I've got my 6. Now 3 to the power of 10 divided by 2 to the power of 10. You have to remember that rule from Foundations Math 10 from a previous course, that this is the same as 3 to the power of 10 divided by 2 to the power of 10. That's going to be a pretty big number. That's going to be an extremely large number. But you know what? We can handle it. So we will use our calculator for part of this anyways. Let's turn this on. Clear the junk on the screen there. So what's 3 to the power of 10? Big number, right? Whoops, 3 to the power of 0. No good. 59,049. Okay, not too bad. 59049. So again, 3 to the 10 divided by 2 to the 10. That's one of the laws of exponents. So 2 to the power of 10, you might know that one. 2 to the power of 10 is 1024. 1024. Now we have to subtract 1. If we're going to subtract 1, again, we got to keep the decimals. So 1 can also be expressed as a decimal over 1024. And that's 1024 over 1024, because in order to subtract decimals, we need common denominators. So we're going to do this. And 3 over 2, same thing. 3 over 2, 1 can be expressed as 2 over 2. So we're going to keep our decimals intact here. And that's the only tricky part about this, is just following this through. So let's work at it here. So 59,049 minus 1024, 1024 is, what is that number? Let's move this over here. 58,025, 58,025. So we're going to write the 6 again. 58,025. And that's going to be over 1024. Now we may be able to simplify this, which would be really nice, wouldn't it? And 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2 is 1 over 2. Okay? So there we got a whole mess, don't we? Wow, we got a mess of fractions. No big deal. Don't panic. If you divide by a fraction, that's the same as flipping and multiplying. So guess what? I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1, and that's going to get rid of this fraction on the bottom. That's going to be handy. Okay? Now we can just start to kind of reduce here. I'm going to change my colors here. So 2 times 6 is going to be 12. So I could combine those. Now what about this? could we divide this or simplify this? I hope so. All right, I hope so. And if you want your calculator to help you here now, you totally can. You have fraction buttons on your calculator. You can get your calculator to write this in simplest form. That's no problem. I don't care. You don't have to start dividing by 2 and then divide by 2 again, divide by 4, or whatever you want to do to get your calculator to help you at this point. But we still have to write our answer as a fraction form. Okay, so this is what I mean. So let's do 12 times, oh, I've got that number already up there, so let's just say 12 times the answer, divided by 1024. So does that equal a whole number? No, it doesn't. But this decimal, many calculators, you can get that to be written as a fraction by hitting a certain fraction button or whatever. This is how I do it with mine. So there's the simplified form. That's the simplest way you can write that fraction. So it's 174,075, 174,075 divided by, and that was 256. Okay. So now positive, negative. Did I pay attention to my negative signs, positive signs? Okay, you want to go back and just kind of double check some things, right? I didn't drop anything or get confused. Okay, so this should be the sum of the first 10 terms in exact form. Exact form, that's a fraction in simplest form. Okay, I'll just double check my work here. Okay, so yeah, the answer looks good. Well, my work looks pretty right there. So that's 2A. I hope that helps. And yeah, goodbye for now.